Chiefs Kingdom, buckle up. We've got unexpected Patrick Mahomes injury news coming out of Kansas City, and the whole NFL just sat up straight. No one ever wants to hear Mahomes and injury in the same sentence, but here we are, and it matters for this week and beyond. I'm breaking down what it means, what to watch for in practice, and how Andy Reid can pivot if QB1 isn't 100%. If you're new here, this is Kansas City Chiefs Today, daily news, rumors, and real talk for the kingdom. We're grinding toward our community goal, the push to 5,000 subs, so tap that button and ride with us. Now, let's unpack what this development really says about the state of the Chiefs right now. When the words unexpected and injury news drop about Mahomes, it usually means one of two things. Either the team added him to the practice report with something that popped up late, or the coaches are adjusting his workload to keep him fresh. In either scenario, the headline spooks the league because the Chiefs' offense is built around number 15's timing, creativity, and control at the line. Remember, Mahomes plays chess when most defenses are playing checkers. He's not just throwing darts, he's setting protections, flipping plays, and manipulating safeties with his eyes. Even a minor limitation can ripple through cadence, motion timing, and how often the offense lives in shotgun versus under center. That's why this kind of news gets amplified fast. Think back to past bumps and bruises. We've seen him gut through ankle tweaks, foot soreness, and all the usual quarterback wear and tear. The pattern with Kansas City is measured caution early in the week, then ramp-up tests before the game plan locks in. The staff prefers controlled reps, scripted movement, and tons of film to safeguard what makes Mahomes special. To frame how these things usually unfold during the week, think about the rhythm of an NFL practice. Wednesday is install, Thursday is heavy situational work, and Friday is polish plus red zone. If a star player has something that needs monitoring, the team might list him early, limit reps, and steadily ramp as confidence builds. That pattern prevents setbacks while letting the coaching staff tailor the call sheet to whatever feels best by Saturday night. There's also the chemistry piece with the pass catchers. The timing between Mahomes and his receivers is rehearsed down to steps and shoulder leans. If the staff trims the vertical menu for a week, they can lean on option routes, overs, and shallow drags that let playmakers run after the catch. The tight end room thrives in this world, because spacing and leverage become the story instead of pure speed. Protection calls always tell the truth. If you notice the backs hanging in to help more often, it's a sign the Chiefs are prioritizing clean pockets over 5-out route concepts. The tackles can set a bit more vertically, the guards confirm the inside, and you build a wall while the ball comes out on time. It doesn't have the fireworks of a scramble highlight, but it stacks first downs and drains defensive legs. One subtle lever is cadence. At home, the offense uses voice to draw tells and steal free plays. On the road, it's the silent count and synchronized footwork. If the priority is keeping everything smooth, the Chiefs may simplify cadence to avoid any extra stress on timing. Little things like that add up to big-picture control. Let's talk mechanics first. If there's any discomfort, the two biggest levers are base and follow-through. Quarterbacks live off their lower body, so anything that limits torque changes how deep they drive the ball and how quickly they reset on multi-read concepts. Even a slight change can turn a 20-yard laser into a flatter throw or nudge the timing window a tick late. Timing routes are the heartbeat of this offense. Option routes with the receivers, quick outs to the sideline, and those deep crossers all depend on Mahomes hitting his back foot and firing. If he's even slightly limited, you might see more three-step rhythm, more quick game, and more RPO looks to keep the chains moving without asking him to hold the ball forever. The coaches can still be aggressive, just in a different way. Protection becomes the next domino. Expect a heavier dose of running back chips and tight end help on the edges, especially early. If the staff wants to dial down the chaos, they'll lean on condensed formations, motion to stack releases, and the screen game to slow down the rush. That buys Mahomes clean pictures, which is the real currency here. Then there's the scramble element. We all know those second reaction plays where he breaks the pocket and turns nothing into a 30-yard dagger. If the team wants to be careful, designed movement might shift to half rolls and sprint outs that control his launch points without asking him to cut back across the grain. that still leverages his arm angles while limiting awkward torque. Don't sleep on the run game either. Kansas City can recalibrate with inside zone, duo, and counter to force honest numbers in the box. If the defense dares them to be patient, a physical running script early can get the offense into second and manageable and set up play action. That's the quiet place where Mahomes can hit those intermediate inbreakers without needing a 7-step drop. If Andy Reid needs a Mahomes-light plan for a week, here's how it looks. First drive, scripted tempo. Mix RPO slants with quick flats and fast screens to stretch horizontally. Sprinkle in a tight end stick route to the boundary, then a running back angle to force linebackers to declare. You're making the defense defend every blade of grass without asking Mahomes to be a superhero. Second quarter, start the constraint plays. Jet motion orbit fake into a tunnel screen. Short yardage under center sneak look, then pivot to a toss crack with motion. You're not just stealing yards, you're planting doubt. Once the defense widens, hit a glance route off play action and let yards after catch do the heavy lifting. Red zone is where the art comes in. Expect quick switches, stacks, and those whip routes the Chiefs love. If mobility is being managed, you trade extended scramble drill for pre-snap advantage. Bunch sets, rub releases, and pick your poison with the tight end in space. Mahomes doesn't need to run to threaten. He needs clean leverage and a decisive first read. On third and medium, look for simulated pressure beaters. Empty with a running back motioned out late, replace pressure with slants and shallow crossers, and let Mahomes find the hot window. The beauty of his game is the processor. Even when limited physically, he wins with speed of thought. The staff will build the plan around that superpower. And yes, the backup quarterback has to be ready. That doesn't mean panic. It means responsible reps in case the team wants to trim Mahomes' late-week workload. The standard stays the standard, but you protect the season by making sure the system translates across the room. That's how winning organizations operate in October, November, and deep into January. Let's be real, any whisper about Mahomes turns into a megaphone across the NFL. You'll hear hot takes flying from every direction, but the pulse in Kansas City is steady. This franchise has earned trust by handling these moments with clarity and care. They don't overshare, but they don't gamble with the face of the league either. For fans, the best barometer is practice participation and the vibe from teammates. If you see the guys talking about business as usual, it usually means the plan is solid and the room is confident. If the tone shifts to next man up, that's not doom, it's just the locker room acknowledging responsibility. Either way, the message from the building is typically consistent. Do your job, protect the football, and let your star be your star on Sunday if he's good to go. Local media will drill down on rhythm throws, drive length, and how quickly the ball is coming out. If Mahomes is going full speed, you'll see the usual fireworks. If the staff is throttling certain concepts, you'll notice more on-schedule plays and fewer extended adventures. That's not boring. That's smart football when you're protecting the long game. Zooming out, anything involving Mahomes changes the geometry of the AFC. Rivals like the Ravens, Bills, Bengals, Jaguars, and Dolphins are always scoreboard watching. If the Chiefs manage this moment cleanly, they keep home field dreams intact and keep the conference from smelling blood. If they stumble, the race for seeding tightens quickly. Division-wise, the margin for error is never as big as it feels. You still have to handle your business against familiar opponents who know your tells. A one-week pivot that protects Mahomes can pay off in December when tiebreakers and conference record decide who gets the bye. The Chiefs have lived at the top for a reason. They plan for weeks like this. Here's the bottom line. Unexpected injury news around Patrick Mahomes is serious, but it doesn't have to be season-defining. The organization's track record is to measure, adjust, and execute. If he's limited, the plan tightens and the ball comes out fast. If he's fine by kickoff, the league gets reminded why Arrowhead still terrifies defensive coordinators. Either way, there are a few tells we'll watch this week. Practice pace. Whether the offense leans into quick game early. How often the tight ends and backs are asked to help in protection. And whether early play calls emphasize rhythm over explosives. Those details usually reveal where the staff's comfort level really is. We'll keep our eyes on everything out of Kansas City as this story evolves and the team gets ready for the next one. Chiefs Kingdom, your voice matters here. You keep this community sharp, passionate, and plugged in. Drop your takes in the comments and join the road to 5,000 subs here on Kansas City Chiefs Today.